Hi, my name is DeeDee Autry, and I am a health and wellness coach in Fort Smith, Arkansas. And I am pleased that you have joined us for this Infinite Possibilities podcast. My goal in each episode is to provide you with inspiration, insight, and ideas that can help you personally unleash all the infinite possibilities in your life. So, thanks for tuning in today. So, today we're going to do something a little bit different. I am actually just going to share with you all a list that I recently put together. I call it the top 10 habits that will change your life. So I just wanted to share with you all these habits, maybe these steps that you could begin incorporating into your life and see if it gives you some motivation, some inspiration, or maybe even opens up just some thoughts to some other possibilities that you may have for habits that you would like to either change or modify or create for yourself. So let's just dive right in and kind of go through this list. As I have kind of ventured into this world of thinking about uh, living a better, healthy lifestyle, I've paid a lot of attention to my habits. And oftentimes I find when I'm a little defensive about making a change, it's because I'm not willing to let go of a habit that really isn't bringing me much joy. It's not bringing me anything helpful. In fact, it probably is causing some harm to me. So I try really hard to be mindful of when I'm thinking through the things I do. And when I feel that sense of resistance or defensiveness about maybe something I'm recognizing in myself. So it's kind of like when you hear that little voice in your head go, I don't do that. That's usually a good signal to me that maybe I need to think about what my habit is and if it's bringing me life or if it's harming me in some way. So here goes the top 10 habits that to incorporate into your everyday life. So the first one is to keep things organized and tidy. Now, I'm sure at this point you're like, oh, she just lost me because I am not going to be about cleaning my house every day. And that's really not what I'm talking about. But I am talking about keeping things somewhat organized. Or if it's just certain spaces in your house that maybe you give time to keeping clean and organized. For instance, like the kitchen, keeping the kitchen clean. When we can kind of keep our cook space clean, it's going to promote us wanting to cook and to prepare meals and to be in that space. And it's going to promote that sense of wanting to be healthy and provide good, nurturing food to our family. And the other thing that I learned a long time ago when my kids were little was keeping the dining room table cleared of clutter. There were many nights when it was pretty late because maybe one of my girls didn't really want to go to sleep. And so I had to, do all the mommy tricks to get them to go to bed or get them to sleep. And I would still go into my kitchen, walk through the dining room or the kitchen table and clear it off, put away the backpacks, stack up the papers maybe that I needed to look at or sign that, school folder that needed to go back the next day. But to just spend some time cleaning up that clutter. I don't know about you. Clutter is one of those things that just drags me down. So keep things organized and tidy. The second thing is to mindfully manage your time. This is something that we all have a different perception of how we manage our time, and we all have a different thought about what is wasteful time or what is valuable time. So what I'm talking about here is really to just not dwindle away time at things that are draining and exhausting, but spend your time on things that give you energy and motivation. The reality is our time is precious. So we really should be trying to make every moment count. So maybe mindfully managing your time isn't to get sucked into that black hole of the social on social media. We can start scrolling through Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or whatever. And before you know it, we have sat there for 20, 30, 45, almost an hour, just reading and going on into that vast abyss of social media. So maybe it's not spending so much time there, or setting a timer, or only giving yourself certain points during the day that maybe you'll quickly scan through social media and see if there's a birthday you need to reply to, or comment on a picture a friend posted, but to just not waste our time on so much of that. The other thing too would be, spending such an exorbitant amount of time binge watching TV. It's so easy to do now. I recently made a comment to a friend that while I love the ability to be able to watch anything that I want at any given time, I really miss commercials though. Now you may think, oh my God, this woman is nuts. But the deal with commercials is it would remind me, and it kind of calls me back into, okay, what am I doing? And what's the time I'm spending here? So binge watching TV when there's no commercials and you just go from one episode to another, you can find yourself spending half a day watching something because you get so, drawn into that show. For me, the commercial helps me get up, go fill my water bottle. It helps me get up, go change the load of clothes or fold a load of laundry or something that I'm still finding some sense of meaningful time in the midst of that. Here's the third thing: choose gratitude. So every day, I would encourage you to think about identifying the positives in your life and then show appreciation for them. So make it a habit to, just at the minimum, identify 3 things every day that you're thankful for, that you are grateful are a part of your life, and write those down. And if it is an expression of gratitude to a person, then make the effort to express that to them. But keep a running journal even of those gratitude points in your life. And then, I think what's so powerful about that is then when we find ourselves kind of in a downer day, or we're kind of, caught in some emotional turmoil in our life, sometimes it's helpful to be able to go back and look at those things that we are grateful for. So I encourage you to choose gratitude every day and identify those positives in your life. The fourth thing is to stay hydrated. Oh my gosh, we talk about this so much, especially in the Infinite 30 family. But I've just learned so much about the value of keeping my body hydrated, regardless of losing weight or keeping my weight at where I want it to be. But water plays such a huge part in our body and its function. So if we drink that water, half our body weight of water every day, we are going to see ourselves have more energy. Our skin is going to be clearer. I find that my joints are much more fluid. It's that getting up and down hey, come on, I'm 56 years old. So, the joints and all don't work like they did when I was 20. But water does make me feel as if I'm 20, because I have the ability to move and to be flexible. And water also helps with our digestion. So remember, half your body weight in water every day. And here's what I tell my clients all the time: from the moment you get up, if you can start drinking that water, the more you can get in from the moment you wake up, it just makes your body function even that much better. And you're not then trying to spend the whole day catching up. So like what we tell our Infinite 30 clients is try to get 75% of that water in by, a little bit after lunch. And then you don't have the rest of the day that you're trying to get it all in. And guess what? You won't be getting up and down so much at night because you've had all that water later in the day. So remember, stay hydrated. The fifth thing is to plan your days and prep your food. Write things down, keep a to-do list, set some goals. So every Sunday evening, or maybe if Sunday evening's not the time for you, but find a day in the week where you spend some time thinking through the next 7 days. Just thinking through, what do you have every day in the next 7 days? What are your meal times going to be like? Will you be eating out? Will there be a special event? Is there something that I'm need to take food to? And then map it all out, and then think about how you need to plan your meals. So will I be eating home? Am I going to be working late? So I'm going to encourage the family to eat out on this night. You can just imagine. So thinking through the full 7 days. And so if you like to cook and you want to prep everything, and I mean like make specific dishes, we see so many people helping us understand food preparation and having those cool little containers, and it's all weighed out and measured, and all you got to do is grab and go. But I find that for me, that's not the best option. The better option for me when I think about prepping food is having the ingredients prepped and ready to go. I'm not big on leftovers. And I would prefer to prepare the meal and not just warm it up. So for me, my prep looks a little bit something like when I go to the grocery store and I bring home those fruits and veggies and the meats that I'm going to use for the week, is to take the time to clean and prep the veggies, put them in Ziploc baggies or containers in the refrigerator. Now all I got to do is grab those. I don't have to spend the time chopping or cleaning. The same with the meat. If I go to one of the bigger warehouse grocery stores or something, or maybe I find a great buy on chicken breast or ground turkey or ground beef or something, it's to divide that up and put it in bags and smaller portions. If it's 2 or 3 chicken breasts in a bag or whatever, you get the idea. But to put those all out, sort those out, throw those in my freezer. So now when I come in after work and we're going to have some chicken breasts with some stir-fried veggies, now all I got to do is try to have remembered to take that chicken out of the freezer that morning, which I'm really pretty good about that. And then I've got the veggies, and now all I got to do is kind of just put it all together. So for me, that's a better process of prepping than actually making the full recipe and then, portioning it out or whatever. Sometimes I do that for different recipes that I find helpful to have for lunch. But I just really like that idea of kind of prepping the food so that then I can prepare it much quicker when we are eating home. And here's another point on why I think it's important to think through your days of the week and all the things that are going to come at you that you're either going to have to navigate food choices or navigate some different situations. And it's just simply that, so that you know how to play the game each day, so that you don't find yourself having made some choices or even deviated from kind of your normal routine back-to-back days, because that's really when we get ourselves in trouble. That's when we see we don't feel well, and that's when we see our weight fluctuate and change. So that's why it's important to just understand and know what lane you need to stay in on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then on Friday, if the lane's going to change a little bit, then you can make that change without harming yourself. So plan your days, prep your food. The 6th thing is put your family first. Now, that doesn't mean that you neglect yourself and put everyone else's needs before yours. I don't know about you, but I've been there and done that when my kids were little, when it just seemed like we were in a constant state of perpetual motion and there were so many things. I oftentimes put the care of myself on the back burner. That's not what this means. But what it does mean is to strengthen your relationships with your family. Spend time that matters with your spouse and your children, your grandkids, your parents, your siblings. Life is short. So we got to learn to love the ones we're with. And I think if there's any blessing from this pandemic that we have been living in the last year, or it seems like forever, is that we have, for the first time, stopped and taken the time to sit down and have meals together, because suddenly, our social calendars, our busyness was kind of put to a halt. And we had to kind of stop and look around and say, oh, these are the people I love. And so I hope that we don't let some of that go as our calendars start to pick up a little bit, and activities begin to resurface and to become present in our lives again. But we have to take time for our family and put our family first. So I really encourage you to make that time special, and to set boundaries, even if that is what it needs to be, so that you're giving ample time to those that you love. The seventh thing is to get up early. Now, you're probably thinking, oh, this woman is too much. Well, I'm an early riser. I haven't always been an early riser. It's not so much that I'm a morning person, I would say, but I find that if I want to achieve everything that I set out to do in any given day, getting up early gets me going and gives me time to do everything I want to do. It gets me going just for some me time, for some quiet time, for time of reflection and reading. It's when I do my devotional. It's sometimes when I write notes to friends. It's when I pray. But carving out that time first thing in the morning really sets me up for a successful day. So, whatever getting up early looks like, for me, it is a matter of thinking, okay, when do I need to be leaving the house to go to my office or for some responsibility that I have? What time is that? And then I back it up from there. So I back it up knowing, well, it's going to take me this long to get dressed and ready and have some breakfast before I leave. And I want to give myself X amount of time for me time, doing what I want to do, spending time in that quiet time, maybe even doing a few little tasks around the house. So I kind of back it up from there. So typically my getting up early looks about like 5 or 5:30 in the morning. And I find the longer I keep that practice, most mornings I don't even really need to have set an alarm, because I just wake up, I'm ready to go. And so that's been a really awesome new habit for me in the last probably 3 or 4 years. But it has made all the difference. Now, that is not to say that there are days when I do allow my body to rest and to sleep, and we have to do that as well. So be mindful of that. But getting up early and giving yourself time will make a big difference in how the rest of your day unfolds. All right. So, number 8, prepare for success the night before. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, I would get so annoyed with my mom, who would insist that I would lay out my clothes that I was going to wear the next day for school. Well, I mean, I can remember having arguments about that, how I don't want to do that. But I can also remember the mornings that I didn't do that, how the mornings didn't go so well. It was a little bit disruptive in our household because I hadn't thought through all of that. Now I find even today, I still get my clothes ready for the next day. And some days it's just a matter of reaching in the closet and kind of pulling a couple hangers together and hanging them on the hook that I have in my closet. Or maybe it's just even a mental plan in my head that this is what I'm going to wear. And so I know in the next morning it's in my closet. I just go grab it. But it just really does help that whole process. So make sure that every night before you go to bed, it's just almost creating for you a mental checklist as well of, do I have what I need to wear tomorrow? Do I have my lunch ready? Have I kind of put back together my bag that I carry to work with papers or books or, just all those things. And I often did that with my girls. We made sure every night that we had our backpack where it needed to be. We had our lunch made. That was the one thing my kids used to gripe about all the time is we had to make our lunch the night before. And because, that was just one thing that I felt we could do the night before and we wouldn't have to worry about it the next morning. So prepare for success the night before. And I think this is one of the things as parents that we have such a great opportunity in helping our children lay some solid foundations for their success. If we can help them to think about what they need to do the night before so that the next day is a great day and things just kind of come together so much easier. Number 9, get moving. So here's the deal. Successful, happy, and productive people have a regular habit of getting in some healthy movement each day. Now, notice I didn't say getting in an hour at the gym, but instead thinking about it in regards to some healthy movement every day. That doesn't necessarily mean that you got to do a 5-mile run. Now, if that's your thing, of course, then that's your thing. But, there are some amazing benefits to even a 10-minute workout or just a 20-minute walk around the block, or taking the stairs more often at work, or if you have to go to the store for anything, park your car farther away so that you get, some added steps walking into the store. But it's about healthy movement, moving your body every day, stretching, just not being sedentary and sitting. That healthy movement will make so much difference. And then the more and more you become a habit to thinking about this movement, oftentimes that will unfold then to more structured sense of exercise. So I kind of always preach to my clients, I'd rather you focus more on strength and core strength and toning than thinking you're going to, do 30 minutes of cardio. It's about your body, so strengthening your body. And here's kind of the mental picture that I've created for myself. If I am feeding myself food that fuels me and nourishes me and strengthens me in that regard, then the movement I do should only support the way I'm feeding myself. So I'm not going to then be doing movement that's trying to make up for a default in the way I've eaten, because you can't do that. You can't out exercise a bad diet. So I need the way I eat and the way I move to complement each other and to support each other so that my body is being cared for both internally and externally as I move and live and breathe in this world. So get moving. It makes a big difference. And last but not least, rest. Now, as a mom, we love to put our family first, and it is important. And as I said even earlier, that doesn't mean that we have to forego our own needs for self-care. Every truly successful and happy person that you might interview and ask them what makes a difference in their overall demeanor is that they will tell you the value of taking care of themselves. So we all need to take a break. And we all need to learn how to nurture ourselves, because when we don't give ourselves the space to process, to discern, to simply just breathe and be, the negatives that come at us will somehow compound and they will find a way to sabotage us. So we have to find that space and that place and that time in our schedule to take a break and to nurture ourselves. And so And many times that does mean rest. Maybe it means that you carve out time in a day or a whole day, half a day, a part of a day, 10 minutes, whatever it is, to allow yourself to rest. And, the interesting thing about rest and taking care of ourselves through self-care, it has direct effects to our weight loss and our health. So if you're running on empty, then the pounds are not going to come off like you're wanting them to. In fact, they will simply add up because your body knows that you're in a stress state. And so it's going to hang on, because it is fearful that they're not going to get what they need, that the body needs. And so it's going to hang on to that. So we have to allow our body to rest, which means sleep, getting adequate sleep, finding space and place to process, to discern, to let go, to discover who you are as your best self, and then enjoying this life, the world that we live in. So all of that together, all of these 10 things, keeping things organized, managing our time, choosing gratitude, staying hydrated, planning your day for success, putting your family first, getting up early, preparing the night before, moving, and then lastly, rest. All of these 10 things just will make a tremendous difference in your life every day. And when you are living your best, it is amazing how everything else around you just seems to be better as well. So I encourage you to try some of those things out, or consider what your morning routine is like, or your daily rhythm of living is like. And maybe there's some adjustments or modifications that you need to make. And I will tell you, while I believe in those 10 things, I have to practice them every day. So that, that's part of why we call them a practice. Nobody perfects them. Life just doesn't work that way. So we practice our daily habits to be our best self every day. And over time, we find that we get better and better and better. And that's what it's all about. Today's episode was edited and produced by Carson Roach Howell, Hope Bennett, and Bob Beatty. Our executive producer is Georgia Goppert. I'm DeeDee Autry, and you can reach me at covenantcoachingandwellness.com. I'd love to hear from you and get your comments about our show. Make sure to follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever podcast platform it is that you use. And if you enjoyed this episode, leave us a review, or even better, pass it along to a friend. So until next time, I hope you experience a life with infinite possibilities.